Man, how long has it been since I've made a video on this channel? Oh, well, that long. Oops. But I'm here now and ready to talk about the games I played and finished in 2016. I know that a lot of people talk about the games they just played for the year, but I've had so many experiences where endings make the game even better for me, and sometimes even worse, and that's why I choose to only count down the games I have finished. Also, kinda gives me more motivation to finish my ever so growing backlog. So just a quick rundown on the rules. The game doesn't have to be one that came out this year, and as previously mentioned, it has to be something that I finished, even if I didn't start it this year. This also goes without saying, but this is my opinion of what I enjoyed. So without any further delay, let's begin.
Won't you spare me over till another year?
I remember when I first saw a trailer for this game back at Gamescom, I believe, and it instantly scared me, but got me really intrigued. We start the story with a bunch of friends in a winter getaway where a prank put on a twin sister, Hannah, goes wrong and she runs away. Her sister Beth soon goes looking for her and both are declared missing or presumed dead. A year after the incident, the twin sister's brother Josh invited everyone back to the cabin to put the past behind, and things start getting strange. A game of choice, where the player gets to choose who dies and who lives. A game where you can kill everyone off or save everyone. Your decisions matter, as Until Dawn utilizes the butterfly effect, where your actions could cause consequences in the future. I tried to save everyone despite hating a few of the characters, but I accidentally got 2 of them killed due to poor decision making. If you're a fan of the Telltale games, I would highly recommend checking out Until Dawn, though if you are a chicken like me, then maybe play with someone next to you.
一人で悩んでた夢の探し方あなたはわかるかなねえ私何を叶えた答えはどこにあるの
Oh, Italia! You should all know how much I love the Italia franchise. Or at least you would have known if I uploaded the top videos for 2014 Part 2 and 2015. Whoops. But I'll say it now, I love the Italia franchise, so I was very excited to hear Italia Sophie was coming out. Although it's not the strongest entry in the Italia series, it was still very enjoyable. I even went for the Platinum Trophy. We start with Sophie, our main protagonist, who runs an alchemy shop in the small town of Kirchenbell. Soon she meets a mysterious book who can move and talk, and Sophie takes it upon herself to help this book regain its memories. Like Italia Shelley, which again you would have heard me talk about if I decided to upload that damn video, the day system has been removed, which would make it more inviting to newcomers, as there is no time constrictions. Though Italia Sophie adds a new element where when you travel it will change to day and night, which means different items and monsters will appear during different times of the day. Of course, like other Italia games, you will meet new characters which you'll party up with to go on your adventure. Unfortunately, not many of these new characters I grew to love compared to the other games, but I did love the relationship between Sophie and this mysterious book. The alchemy system is still similar in the sense of mixing up ingredients, but it has changed in terms of the cauldron you use, where you need to fit in ingredients on a specific grid to get their full effects, kind of like Tetris in a way. The Italia franchise is such a hard franchise to recommend because it definitely isn't for everyone, but Italia Sophie kinda wouldn't recommend to newcomers, but to anyone who has played through the Arland and Dust series. It still is an enjoyable game, and I am very much looking forward to the second one.
Why? Why did you do it?
Interesting.
Screw it! I'll just kill all of you!
If you watched my top games of 2011, you would have seen that I mentioned a gem 999. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, and I loved it. And also, if I released those videos, you would have also known that back in 2013, my favourite game I played that year was Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. So knowing that Zero Time Dilemma was going to come out in 2016, it was an immediate purchase. Heck, in early 2014, it was announced that this game was put on hold indefinitely due to the series' poor commercial success in Japan. But mid-2015, it was announced that due to the high demand and awareness thanks to its fans, development had resumed, and I am so thankful that it did. It is incredibly difficult to explain the story behind any of the three games because of spoilers, but also because they are so complicated. From what I can say, the game begins with 9 characters who are locked up underground and are faced with our antagonist Zero. Zero explains to them that they are going to have to play the death game, called the decision game, and they will be divided off into 3 wards, 3 each ward. They will need 6 passwords in order to escape, and 1 password will be revealed each time someone dies. Also, to add to this, every 90 minutes the characters will be injected with the sleeping drug, which will also cause them to lose their memory for those past 90 minutes. It is 100% recommended that you play both of the previous games, 999 and Zero Escape, before jumping into Zero Time Dilemma, or some of its charm and background would be lost on you. If you haven't played any, then don't expect to enjoy this game to its fullest potential. Zero Time Dilemma doesn't have the best voice acting, nor does it look pretty, but every single moment I just wanted to know more. I needed to know more. This franchise I hold very dear to me, and it's what sparked my love for visual novels. If you can hold out, 999 and Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward is getting remastered on the PS4 and PS Vita in the Nonary Game Edition. Feel free to pick them up then and enjoy.
Time for us has resumed its march.
This place, I know I remember it. And you? You aren't going to waver?
We have a prophecy to fulfill.
As a massive Final Fantasy fan, this game just gave me all the feels. This is basically a love letter to all Final Fantasy fans. Not saying you can't play this game without being a fan either. World of Final Fantasy is set in the world of Grimoire. You play as twins Lan and Rain, who wake up with no memories but are tasked to capture as many mirages as they can. Mirages are monsters that roam around Grimoire, and if you play through any Final Fantasy game, some of these monsters might look a bit familiar. The twins then utilize these mirages to help fight in combat, and we are introduced to the stacking system. Rain and Lan can freely transform themselves from their chibi form to their giant form, and this will affect how they can set their stacks with other mirages. I won't go any further into the combat, otherwise I will be here all day trying to explain it. As you go through the story, you will also come across some familiar faces, which you will also be able to use as champion summons. The story is hard to explain because it comes in drips and drabs throughout the entire game, and it wasn't well explained. Though I found myself so absorbed into the world of Final Fantasy, and all I wanted to do was help the twins regain their memories. There is some great humour in this game, and I've had a few laughs, but be warned, there are some cringe-worthy and annoying characters as well. In the end, World of Final Fantasy was great fun, and maybe I'm being a bit hopeful, but I wouldn't mind a second one. I've grown up with Pokemon ever since I was young, with my first experience coming from Pokemon Red. Ever since then, I have played every single main Pokemon release to come, and I have enjoyed every single one. Though I would have to admit, I started to burn out after the Black and White series. Pokemon X and Y was good, Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby improved from X and Y, but I felt it didn't have the same charm as the Game Boy Advance version. So with all the hype that was surrounding Pokemon Sun and Moon, I didn't know if I wanted to join in on the hype train. I avoided everything I could, which, let's be honest, that was really hard, especially around Twitter, and I only watched previews from the Nintendo Direct. My first step into the Alola region, and I was instantly sold. We have moved away from the traditions of visiting one city and versing gyms, but have island trials instead. And I must say, it really is a breath of fresh air. Also, this is probably the first Pokemon game where I was actually interested in the story, and enjoyed seeing the characters progress. I would recommend Pokemon Sun and Moon to anyone, whether you're a veteran, someone who's only played one in the franchise, or even if you've never played one before. I would even go as far as saying that this is in my top 3 Pokemon games of all time, and it's going to be hard to top this game.
Are you with me?
I am not the greatest when it comes to multiplayer games. I've clocked in a few hours in Call of Duty and enjoyed my time with the first Titanfall. I've even clocked in far too many days into World of Warcraft that I care to admit. So when I heard Blizzard were making a game that was purely based around multiplayer, I didn't know if I was going to jump in. I played the beta, watched the animated shorts, and thought to myself, I need this in my life. Although Overwatch is fun, the best thing about it is that it's accessible. Don't want to play as a DPS? That's fine, why not a tank or a support? Each of the 23 characters are unique and play differently, giving a variety of choices. I personally love playing as support, even though we don't always feel the love from time to time. With Blizzard listening to fans and taking on as much feedback as possible, this is a game that truly keeps on giving. When I play Overwatch, I always say to myself, just one more match, only to find myself hours later still playing. Makes sense why I've clocked in over 100 hours of gameplay. The point of Overwatch is fighting as a team. If there's no teamwork, then you'll instantly fail. Also, objective. You should play the objective. Invited into the physical interaction cyberspace network, better known as Cyberspace Eden, our protagonist and 2 others decide to go meet up with a hacker who came into their chat room. Upon investigation, we receive the Digimon capture device, and after an incident, we become a half-digitized entity, and this is where our story begins. I instantly got absorbed into the story of Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth, and just wanted to know more and more about the story. What happened to me? What happened to my friends? What are Digimon and why are hackers using them? So many questions, so many answers to be found. In Digimon Story, you control the main character throughout parts of Japan, while also interacting with Eden, where you capture and train Digimon. The combat system is turn-based, where you take advantage of Digimon's different weaknesses, making team composition very important. You also digivolve and de-digivolve your Digimon freely to make them stronger and meeting certain requirements to get their mega forms. The characters are great, the humour is fantastic, and the combat is top-notch. If you are into JRPGs, or even just RPGs for that matter, then pick up Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. You can pick it up physically on the PS4, or if you want a physical copy on the Vita, you can pick up the Asia copy, as this also has English subtitles. If you follow me on Twitter, then you would know that ever since the release of Dragon Quest Builders, I've been gushing about how great this game is. I've never been a big fan of Minecraft, but there's just something special about Dragon Quest Builders that got me so hooked. From the very start of the game, you are instructed by the goddess to rebuild the land of Valfgard from scratch, but one important thing to note, you are not a hero. During your time collecting items to craft different items, you are set with certain objectives to assist in rebuilding the town. You fight different enemies from the Dragon Quest series to assist in getting the materials and food for your survival. I found myself staying up all hours of the night because I was just so enthralled into the world. Although there isn't many chapters in Dragon Quest Builders, the chapters that are available are quite lengthy, and to add to that extra bonus, after each chapter you can view the challenges, which adds to the replay value of the game. If you are on the fence about Dragon Quest Builders, I would suggest checking out the demo. That's what sold me straight away on this game. I was so disappointed when the demo ended. All I wanted to do was purchase the game straight away so I could continue on with my story. I didn't even expect to finish Final Fantasy 15 by the end of 2016, but 30th of December I managed to finish it, and yes, I was a blubbering mess. 31st of December 2016, I managed to get all the achievements too before the start of the new year. I still remember the day I watched the trailer back in 2006 as Final Fantasy Vs 13, and I was excited. Throughout the years, I was always wondering if this game was going to ever release, with rumours of it being cancelled. You should have known the joy I felt when we saw that Versus 13 was now known as Final Fantasy 15 when it showed up again at E3 2013. With release dates being pushed back, I still had hope, but I stopped all research of the game as of 2013, so in all honesty, I basically went in blind. You play as Prince Noctis in a party with 3 of his friends, Gladio, Ignis, and Prompto, as you try to make your way to Altissia. Towards the end of the first chapter, something goes wrong, and this changes the plans for the 4 of them. Throughout my entire journey with Noctis and the gang, I could really sense the friendship between them all, and Ignis is my favourite character. I was so absorbed into the world of Final Fantasy 15, I didn't want to put it down. I cried badly during sections and laughed through others. The main antagonist, who I will not name, was fantastic and one of my favourite villains. There's something so special about Final Fantasy 15. I know many others weren't a fan of this game, but all I can recommend is give it a shot. It was an emotional roller coaster for me, which I wish I could experience again. Final Fantasy 15 is my game of the year for 2016, but it would have been number 1 game played this year if it wasn't for something special that came along in 2015. Okay, before we get to number 1, here are a few honourable mentions. Honey Pop, puzzle dating sim guilty pleasure game, and had more fun than expected. Warning, for adults only due to sexual content. Mario and Luigi Paper Jam, a step in the right direction. Enjoyed more than Mario and Luigi Dream Team, but not as much as the others. Ys Memories of Salsetta, my first experience with the Ys franchise and excited to try out more. Fire Emblem Fates, not as good as Awakening in my opinion, but still great fun. Dragon Quest Heroes, spent hours on this game, plays like Dynasty Warriors or Hyrule Warriors, great spin-off. Yokai Watch, fantastic RPG and can be difficult at parts if you're not prepared. Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor, my biggest surprise of 2016. Didn't think I was going to like it, but I fell in love with it. Also, the Nemesis system is fantastic. It was a battle because I really wanted to place Final Fantasy 15 as my number 1, but this game made me feel things I never really felt at this time. Has there ever been a game where you could sit there and say, this is the reason I am a gamer? A game where you invest so much time you felt each emotion the characters were feeling, and you were absorbed so much into the world that you in a sense believed you were there. This started for me from a game I didn't really think I would like, but turned out to love.
What are you doing?
Killing monsters.
The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt was one of the best games I played in 2016, and is the best game that came out in 2015. All the praise it has got and still continues to get is 100% deserved. We play as the Witcher Geralt of Rivia on his search for the sorceress Yennefer. Once they meet, his journey changes and he is now on the search for Sorella, better known as Ciri, who is currently being pursued by the Wild Hunt. There is a vast range of characters in this game, with all different personalities, and I grew to love, or at least appreciate, every single one of them. There are also hours upon hours of side quests to complete, and if anyone knows me, I love doing side quests. I tend to spend most of my time doing the side quests before progressing with the main story. Some, if not most, are not your average go over to point B and kill this monster for me or gather this for me. Instead, they become a whole story in themselves. And let's not forget about the Gwent card game, which I also clocked in many hours in and absolutely love playing. Can't wait for the Gwent standalone game to come out. I also felt that the combat was quite good with having to utilize your swords, signs, oils, and potions. I never played any of the previous Witcher games. I have attempted to play The Witcher 2, but have not succeeded going any further than the tutorial. But after playing through The Witcher 3, I not only want to play through the other games, but I also want to venture into the books, which I picked up at the end of 2016. The Witcher 3 is not only just a game, it's an experience. So many unreleased videos, and it seems I've disappeared off the face of the earth. 2016 was a rough year, as it was for a lot of people. Due to health issues, family issues, and work issues, my time was spent elsewhere than things I love doing. Am I back? Maybe. And that's a hopeful maybe. What were your favourite games you played in 2016? I would love to know. Heck, what are some of the worst games you played last year? If I decide to come back, what are some other videos you'd like to see from me? If you want, feel free to follow me on Twitter, where you'll see me a bit more active. I hope you enjoy this video, and until next time guys, happy 2017.